Salutations, my friends, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Factions of Freedom. I'm your host, Noisera, Freedom Faction, whichever one you prefer, and I entitled this episode Cyberspace, Paradigm Shifts, and Humanity Strifes, because we're going to be looking at all of the other things that have been happening with this year. Holy crap, 2017 has most assuredly been a wild ride, that's for sure. We go over that and more in this edition. But first, as always, updates. Make sure you guys are checking out the websites. I go over that because I think it's really important for you guys to understand the kind of pull that we're in right now. Yes, we can go headfirst into social media, not really thinking about what we do, or we can use this influential time to try to build something of our own. But with that being said, let's jump right into it. Salutations, my friends, and thank you for tuning in to the very last episode of Season 5. That's right. But I'm going to close it out with all kinds of crazy things to recap 2017. But before we do, I wanted to get into a few more updates for you guys to check out on the website. Obviously, we got a whole lot of different things coming out to you guys. I mean, 2018 is obviously shaping up to be that of an adventure. I really don't even know what else to say. You know, we've got all kinds of different things coming out to you guys, really cool developments, you know, and I really do like kind of where the show's going, where the page is going, where all the information going, you know, where we are going as an organization, as a team, you know, and really what's going on. And I'm really going to try to expand even bigger if it sounds crazy, but let's get through some of these updates so we can get through the recap and actually go through the episode. You know, like I said, this episode is called Cyberspace, Paradigm Shifts, and Humanity Strifes, because we really got to look at what we're going into 2018 with. Why are things so crazy? But like I said, these updates, make sure you guys are going to the website to check out the newsletter. But like I said, we have all kinds of different things to offer to you guys, you know, and it's in the face of the censorship, in the face of all the other things that have really happened to us, you see. And what you're seeing right here, you know, you go to the website, boom, right there, you click subscribe. It takes you here. You don't have to enter your birthday. I think that's a kind of weird part as well, but you know, you enter your information, bing, bang, boom, you subscribe to the list, and you're part of it. That's it. And I'm going to try to start instituting that, you know, as the year goes on, you know, giving you guys constant points of information, really good articles that I think really condense and show what's going on, because you know we really do get lost in all the other information, other things that are going on. There's so many different things developing, it's hard to keep track, and that's why, you know, we're moving away from trying to be up on social media. I know that's where we all started, but the idea is to use their platform to spring into something greater. So if you guys have been noticing, we have also been talking about our second show. Now I'm very excited for this. And I kind of made a bungle whenever I was making this graphic. But we have our second show, Fellowship and Freedom. You know, it's going to be every other Sunday, a bi-weekly show over on the Wake Up Radio. Definitely go back and check out that episode. You know, we kind of cut loose. It's good. And what I have planned for people is to have a lot more interviews, you know, a lot more kickback sessions. You guys can call in. It's going to be great. You know, weekly news roundup, powerful interviews, hard-hitting research, live episodes, you know, with call-ins, like I said. And you can write this number down, 678-603-4393. I messed up right there on the graphic and put 94, but it is 678. Let me make sure I got this down. Yep, 678-603-4393. All right? And it's every other Sunday. You can catch me 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I'll keep putting the links up so you guys can check it out, because it's going to be great. You know, we really are expanding, and that's really because of you guys, the listenership, of the viewers, the audience. It's you guys. I really don't even know what to say. Like I keep saying, it's a massive honor to be in this position and still be here with everything they have going on. You know, all the censorship, all the things they're trying to do. But you know, that's the beauty of it all, is that in the face of it, we've become smarter, we've grown, we've expanded. You know, we've not stayed the same. You know, it's taken 5 seasons of nonsense from them, you know, from all this other stuff that's going on, having to expand with the information, keeping up with everything that's going on, trying to archive the information while at the same time, going against it. It's crazy. But these are the things that need to happen in order for us to expand. It's right here, like you're saying, again, with updates. The YouTube channel page. You can go there. You can see the official YouTube channel, our Building the Matrix series, the Occult World series, the Terraforming Earth series, the Paranormal Perspective. And once you're there, you guys can actually download Season 1 for free. Just take it. Really see where we've come from. You can get Season 2, Season 3, Season 4 through the store, where you can just get exclusive membership and get access to them all. And all the information is there because I'm really trying to, again, diversify the information for you guys. It's what you deserve. You see. And again, for the exclusive members that are watching right now, and I'll be sending you guys this code where you can access it, but it is a password protected area where you can download everything. Get everything that I've been offering to you guys for free and more. Access to the videos, access to so much more. And I'm going to be developing it all over time, because as I keep saying, the website is expanding. We are expanding. We're growing in the face of all this adversity. That's what it's about. So as you guys have been hearing me say, the social media switch up that I've been doing, I'm really not trying to operate heavily on social media anymore. We actually closed out 2017 with the Underground Resistance Network page on Facebook, where we had over 150,000 likes being taken off. And that's how we ended 2017. So now we're in the process of rebuilding that. As you guys have known, we've sustained our own versions of attacks, hacks, and everything else. And this is all because of what's going on. Okay? And it's not that we've cowered in the face in these things. That's why we've instituted the newsletter. That's why we've instituted trying to work on developing a forum and things of this nature as well. Because what is the page? Other than housing a lot of people having great discussions. That's what it's about. But if we can have it on our domains, and this is something that we've been doing over here on this end, beefing up our security. So for you people that are watching, I can see you now. I'll be alerted whenever something happens or some people are trying to come in. But we're working on being a better organization, being a better person for you guys. That's the only thing I can really say. So let's talk about the recap of 2017. Holy crap. Where would we even begin? I'm just going to breeze through all this stuff because it's kind of crazy. It's kind of important. But since we're here on the website, I can talk about this stuff as well. 2017 was the year of the pedophile roundup. There was all kinds of different things happening there. So many different arrests. And what I mean by us still being here on the website, you guys can go to the vault on the website, download the PedoGate timeline, because a lot of people, for some strange reason, I don't know why, they said PedoGate wasn't real. I think it's kind of stupid. But anyway, when you get there, you can download it, check out the whole timeline that ranges from literally, I think, what is it? November 2006 to September 2007. And they say it's not real. I have no idea where that whole thing came from. But 2017 was the year of PedoGate, spirit cooking, Pizzagate, and for some strange reason, we now have Hillary Clinton, her daughter, Chelsea Clinton, saying that she has no strange ties, or has no ties to the Church of Satan. At the start of 2018, these people are sick. So it gets to a point to where they're disgusting. But my point is this, by pointing out these types of things, 2017 being the year of pedophile roundup, PedoGate, Hollywicked being exposed with Harvey Weinstein and all their nonsense. And, I think a lot of people already understood that Hollywicked, the casting couch, all the things that they did over there, the satanic rituals, the dark magic, the occult things that they have going on, that was known. Way heavy dark forces act in Hollywood, act in California. We heard about the magic resistance people who were conducting rituals every month against the president and essentially against America. Basically continuing on this occult theme. We also heard more about how occult operations were taking place. The deep state came out. There's so many different things that 2017 revealed to us. It was most definitely a year of light and a Lucius. Now, what we see happening at this day and age, what they're doing to us, because we can see these types of things happening, we're forming genuine opinions about what's actually happening to our surroundings. They don't necessarily want us to have these deep opinions. They don't want us to at least have discussions about these types of things. So their response is to censor us. Their response is to keep us in a technological servitude, so to speak, to where we're no longer really a threat. We're basically servile, heavily monitored, never really given the tools to excel, never really told what it means to excel in their paradigm, you see, in their cyberspace. This is why they're trying to push us into it. They're trying to destabilize everything. We saw a lot of that last year as well, with Antifa and all the other paid for George Soros orbit organizations. They were part of this whole destabilization operation. One thing I didn't really talk a whole lot about last year as well is the hypersexualization of children. That stuff went way too far. Way too far. They're scrambling kids' brains, not only with Common Core, but now they're doing something else. Education is going down the drain. We're seeing all kinds of different terror attacks that are bleeding over. There's been 30,000 terror attacks that have been recorded since 2001. We also saw a massive, somewhat push in what they called for drug reproach. You know, they're saying that the opioid epidemic is crazy, yet they're legalizing weed. Yet there's thousands of people locked up in jail for simply having a 20-sack. It's crazy. It's crazy. And on top of that, what's bleeding over into today, geoengineering and the weather modification, the post-weather modification ramifications. You hear me talk about this all the time. I think that's a lot of what we're seeing in California as well as in the East Coast. And this is something else that we'll get to later on in the show. And the reason why we're dealing with all these types of things, why we have to have these types of deep discussions, is because they'll say that it's fake news. This is misinformation. No, we're just aware that these people have the types of tools to perform these kinds of sophisticated illusions. That's the best way I can describe it. You see, so that's all of what 2017 revealed to us. And don't even get me started about, the technological adaptations. We will get into that as well. But what we're dealing with today, with censorship, net neutrality, these people literally trying to cut off the internet, monitor what we see, stamp out social media. Google hires 10,000 censors to stamp out independent media. And for people who are curious, I'll go ahead and get this over with. For people who are curious as to why I kind of switched up the posting format, is so that we could also archive these things on our website, not only on social media. If they ever take the page down, you guys can also have access to the website. It's very simple. I feel like it's very simple. But right here, stamping out independent media. That means me. Getting rid of social media influencers. People who are trying to break the matrix, make people aware of all their things that are going on. This is the establishment. This is the system. This is these people trying to manipulate society. Thought police, thought control, right there, the Twitter executive. It's no longer possible to stand up for free speech, for all speech. No free speech allowed. Twitter is now censored. I could have told you that. I don't operate on Twitter. I could not operate in 140 characters. Period. I know they doubled it, but I still couldn't operate there. I understand it's for free speech, but we really have to look at what's going on. Everywhere is facing this social media monitoring. But what do you have to think it's for? What is the point of it all? Why are these people trying to govern that which we can see? our opinions, manufacture our consent, tell us what not to think, how to feel, how to act, what's going on. It has to do a lot with reality distortion. These are things that the Tavistock Institute talks a whole lot about. Social engineering is very real. That's why social media is so important. Like I said before, the technological adaptations. You guys can go back to some of the episodes where I've talked about that. At some of these meetings at Bilderberg, they've actually talked about how they want to implement the AI grid. They want to get people more addicted to technology. We've actually heard Sean Parker, one of the former Facebook founders, talk about how how he knows social media is addictive to people, but they went ahead with it anyway. They knew they were giving people a dopamine hit. They knew they were getting people high off of their drugs right here.
How do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's going to get you to contribute more content, and that's going to get you, more likes and comments. I mean, it's a social validation feedback loop that it's like it's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. And I think that we the inventors, creators, and it's me, it's Mark, it's the Kevin Systerman, Instagram, it's all of these people understood this consciously, and we did it anyway. How do we consume?
Yeah, and he chuckles afterwards.
Of your time and conscious attention.
He chuckles afterwards. So, one thing that I want to say or point out while we're here, looking at these types of things, is how, they know what they're doing. They know that they're manipulating society. They know that they're changing people's opinion. They know that they're doing all types of different things. Their ultimate goal, and I'll just summarize this for you guys real quick in a clip. Say that with a Freudian slip, but I'll summarize this for you guys with this clip from Steven Spielberg's new movie that's coming out, Ready Player One. And in this movie, the idea behind that is where you're basically transported into a virtual world. Now, if you guys have paid attention to any of the other work, things like the Building the Matrix and the Autonomous Society, as well as Terraforming Earth, we look at how that's the very real plan that these people are trying to do. Social media is the introduction into this virtual world. You see, it sounds strange, but let's take a look at it real quick.
Sitting here in my tiny corner of nowhere, there's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the oasis. A whole virtual universe. Let me take you on a trip around the world and back. People come to the oasis for all the things they can do. And you won't have to sit still. But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything. The Oasis was the brainchild of James Halliday.
Hello. If you're watching this, I'm dead. I created a hidden object, an Easter egg. The first person to find
it changes the game, etc., etc. These are the types of themes that go on with these types of things. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about things like predictive policing, social media, and how all these types of influences are very real, and what this is going to do to our future. Things such as our social ranking scores, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, the socioeconomic reformation, everything that is going on, and what is going to happen in the future. 2021 is right around the corner. Realize that. The future is right around the corner. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we be back, we'll be talking about this and more. This is Cyberspace, Paradigm Shifts, and Humanity's Strife on Factions of Freedom. Stay tuned. And we are back. I know. There's all kinds of different things going on. What is happening? What is going on? I know, we're all asking ourselves, what is happening? Why is this happening? Can I stop it? Yes, you can stop it. Yes, we can all stop it. And we can all see where it's going. I think we're all curious as to where it's going. And so some of us have a pull to get away. You know, truthfully, when people tell me, you know, what can I really do? The deep, dark truth of it all is to pull away from it. That's what you can truly do. If you really want to be effective, don't give the system any more of the energy that you think it craves. You see, you don't have to do that. The idea is to literally is to not give it what it wants, to not feed the system, to not give the beast that which it craves. You see, but in doing so, and this is what leads into what we're talking about today, predictive policing, social ranking, and social media, all these different types of things. What they're doing to our mind anti-society. Like I keep saying, everybody has a Facebook, everybody has an Instagram. What this is doing to society, it's crazy. But I'm gonna mix things up right here. I normally go down the website or normally go down the page, but I'm gonna check out this hashtag that I've been making for a while: citizen threat ranking. Right here, really, just look at all of the different things that have been put up by me about this type of stuff, about what your social ranking scores are. China's doing this, Canada's doing this. Right here, creepy Canadian app gives citizen points for making government-approved choices. Let's take a listen. Oh, we got this on the mute. Let's take a listen.
We know we're supposed to exercise.
Do you want to put the cilantro in the bowl, please?
Eat well, and get enough sleep.
Earning points is simple, easy, and fun.
Now the Carrot Rewards app is ready to give you something for every healthy effort you make.
Completing a quiz.
Points that you can use for groceries, movies, even flights.
It seems like a good idea, rewarding people for their good behavior, I guess.
Yeah, sure, especially if you could turn into travel rewards and shopping. That sounds great. So if I'm going to make healthy choices already, why not then get more benefits out of it, too?
The app's founders partnered with government to create Carrot Rewards,
I love tracking my points to see how many I've collected.
reducing disease burden and saving healthcare dollars.
We thought, why not harness that popularity of points? Why not use points as incentives to encourage Canadians to participate in healthier lifestyles, to answer quizzes, to find out when they can get their flu shot and where, to encourage them to go to the gym.
We know we're supposed to exercise.
So this whole concept also plays into things that we've talked about, such as universal basic income, being serfs, being slaves. Right there, report, China experimenting with social ranking scores. And clearly right here, China's social credit system will rate how valuable you are as a human. These types of things are very, very real, and we really have to ask ourselves, what does this mean whenever we're literally giving our lives over to this system, whenever they rate us as whether or not we're a threat, as whether or not they should pay attention to us, or if they should just monitor us at all. Right here, let's look at this video since we're up here. Citizen threat ranking. Are the Chinese about to go a little too big brother on their citizens? China wants to implement a national social credit rating system by 2020. Like I said, it's right around the corner. Citizens would be scored based on everyday actions, including internet activity and traffic violations. The scores would determine eligibility for everything, from loans and school admission to hotel bookings and air travel. It sounds like a page from George Orwell's 1984, but it's already being tested by local governments. Any infraction, even jaywalking, will earn you a black mark and lower your score. What's the goal exactly? To allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven while making it hard for discredited people to get around. I'm sure. And as wild as this sounds, like they said, it's already being implemented. These people are already doing these types of things. But what does that mean? Why are they trying to do that? Why are they trying to monitor your behavior? Why are they trying to see what's going on in your mind? Because in this totalitarian society that we keep finding ourselves in this technocracy, there can be no individual thought. There can be no dissonance. There can be no conscience objecting. You can't have your own opinion. How does this tie into predictive policing? Well, imagine if just for a moment you were a criminal. I'm sure we all have friends like that on Facebook or on Instagram, or people that have Snapchat that shouldn't be doing types of things that they're doing. Imagine the people that are monitoring that know whether or not you're doing this or doing that. They can plan whenever you actually go out and commit any acts of violence, or whenever you're meeting up with any kind of people. They want to watch your patterns. That's how this works. That's how this works, is through pattern recognition. You see right there. Chicago PD faces lawsuit over secretive predictive policing program. What if your social score determined your success? China's about to find out. They're really trying to push this, okay? China is really trying to do this. They're really trying to do this. Three-Eye Mafias. China's social credit system will rate how valuable you are as a human. In a contentious world first, China plans to implement a social credit system, officially referred to as a social credit score, or SCS, by 2020. Let's take a look at that after this. But by 2020, the idea first appeared in a document from the State Council of China, published in June 2014. It is a technological advancement so shocking to modern-minded paradigms that many can do little but sit back in defeatist jargon as science fiction shows us its darker side. The SCS seems relatively simple. Every citizen in China, which now has numbers swelling to well over 1.3 billion, would be given a score that, as a matter of public record, is available for all to see. The citizen score comes from monitoring an individual's social behavior, from their spending habits and how regularly they pay their bills to their social interactions, and it'll become the basis of that person's trustworthiness, which would also be publicly ranked. This sounds worse than an Orwellian nightmare. A citizen's score affects their eligibility for a number of services, including the kinds of jobs or mortgages they can get, and it also impacts what schools their children qualify for. In this respect, the SCS resembles one of the most chilling episodes from Black Mirror's third season. Agreed. Yeah, without a doubt. This is some stuff straight out of Black Mirror. Without a frickin' doubt. Incidentally, the show isn't really known for as a feel-good flick. It presents various dystopian views of society, but China's SCS proves reality is darker than fiction. This service isn't slated to go full swing until 2020, but China has already started a voluntary implementation of SCS by partnering with a number of private companies in order to iron out the algorithmic details needed for such a large-scale data-driven system. This is the technocracy that I keep really going on and on about. If I could encapsulate it in any kind of way, that was it. It sounds scary, but that's what their overall plan is. The plan is to make us serfs. The plan is to make us part of a system to where we are constantly monitored, to where they can tell where we go, monitor what we purchase, and things of this nature. Right here, let's take a look at universal basic income. I put this up January 2nd, 2017. Literally like a year later. Finland's radical experiment, citizens given guaranteed income. Let's take a look at this real quick.
Finland's New Year's resolution is to give its unemployed community a little help in 2017. At least it'll try. Starting in January, the Finnish government will randomly select 2,000 unemployed citizens and give them roughly $600 a month for 2 years with no restrictions attached. Participation will be mandatory for those chosen, and the Independent reports they won't even need to prove they're looking for work. It's called a universal basic income experiment, and Finland will be the first country in the world to test it on a national level. The plan is to improve their quality of life, which officials are hoping will actually lead to creating more jobs. The Finnish government reportedly suspects a lot of unemployed citizens put off finding a job because they fear they'll lose unemployment benefits. Marjuka Turunen, the legal head of Finland's Social Insurance Institute, said she thinks the plan could provide a big incentive for people to find work. For Newsbeat Social, I'm Molly Reel.
Crazy. And so basically what we're talking about, is how they're trying to make us into the techno serfs. I'm following this hashtag. There's all kinds of different stuff out there that people put out there. The point I'm trying to make with universal basic income is that they're trying to make us into techno serfs. I think people really do understand the fact that with Fed coin, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, digital money, the cashless society, where we find ourselves going in this technocratic society, it's crazy. It is crazy. You know what? Let's just hit this article because there's a whole lot up there. I'm glad some of our posts make it to the top. But right there, And again, I can't thank people enough for the people that repost everything. Really, you guys do help make this that much more important. For everybody that comes to the show that are curious as to who Factions of Freedom is, to what we're doing over here, to the shows that get out there, it really is you guys that help get the word out. You know, I can put the content out there. They can try to censor me, but they can't censor everybody. And I really am grateful for the amount of people that share and help this operation really become what it is. I love you guys. Really, I do. But let's get into this. You know, the Washington Post, FedCoin will be bigger than Bitcoin. So why are we talking about cryptocurrency? Why are we talking about universal basic income? Why are we talking about social credit systems? Because we're moving into this technocracy. This is the cyberspace, the cyberspace odyssey. They have to do all kinds of different things to get us into this cashless society, into this new world order system. And what we're going to start seeing, what we're going to start seeing is a massive push towards the cashless society. So many different places have their own currency. So many different things have their own currencies. You see, there's for me the other day I tried to look at it. You know how many different currencies there were. I couldn't even do it. So before I get into this article, you know, let's take a quick look at this real quick. Go to this website, Currencio. 1 Bitcoin to, and let's just take a look at how many different things you can convert money into. Okay. These are all different currencies, and for the people that are listening, you know, I'll just say something randomly. InvestFeed, Waves Community Token, CreditBit, Sphere, Quark, Blitzcash, Whitecoin, Aurora Coin, Bitcore, Dubai Coin, Dax Coin, Nerve Die, Dopecoin, TrueFlip, Breakout, Crave, Evergreen Coin, News Shares, Varium Reserve, Memetic, Dime Coin, Tau, VTorn, eSpers, Smiley Coin, Minerium, Arctic Coin, Inflation Coin. There's so many, okay? There is so many, it really becomes dazzling, crazy. But the idea behind this, by literally showing you guys that real quick, is their plan is to make it to where they can engineer a crisis, a financial collapse, a financial reset, to where we have to go on to digital currency. We have to go towards the cashless society. If you guys paid attention, a little bit towards the end of 2017, we had the Equifax hack, where all kinds of different social security numbers were taken. My theory behind that is that because they were hacked, they'll have to offer people some kind of incentive, something different, right? That's where Bitcoin comes in, universal basic income comes in, something, FedCoin, whatever. But we have to understand that in the future, your children and my children will not be paying for things in dollars and coins and tokens or anything of this nature. And if it is tokens, it will have some kind of digital currency. I'm sure you carry a credit card around in your pocket as well, as much money as you do have. We all have to realize that this is what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that the Indians, they were trading turquoise, jewels, and all kinds of other precious metals and beautiful gems, were upset that they had to take the crappy American dollar, the crappy American paper that had no value amongst them. This is the turning of the wheel. This is the socioeconomic reformation. How does this tie into what's going on? Look at how influential technology has become. Everywhere and everyone is a part of something. If you have a phone in your pocket, you're tied into the system. Let's be real. That's why we've got to be aware of things like electromagnetic pollution, EMF towers, ELF towers, all the different things that are really against us these days in this magnitude. But this also ties into things like the fourth industrial revolution, why automation is coming through and wiping out jobs. We're really seeing again the potentiality of humanity being questioned. What's going on? What are we doing with our time? What have we done with our time here? You see, is this the end of our time? Is this the end of human? Because now they're trying to genetically modify us. Now they're trying to do all kinds of different things to humanity. What have we done with our time here? So with the fourth industrial revolution, with things like Ready Player One, with the predictive programming, we really have to ask, what does that mean? So we're already aware they're trying to push us into the matrix, right? I wanted to briefly highlight something I think is pretty crazy. And I know for my flat earth friends, they will be upset that we're covering these types of things. But I think we need to look at this. We really need to take a deeper look at what's happening to our surroundings. In context still too, things like Ready Player One, the destruction of the environment so that they can push us into the matrix. And you hear me talk about this a lot with the breakaway civilization, Asgardia, the military industrial complex, the deep state, however you want to look at these people. But four global powers held mysterious rocket launches within days. Okay, so before we went on the break, we had that crazy SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch that happened. But at the same time, we had Russia, Japan, and China all carrying out their own missile tests. And then when we come back from break, we hear about what DARPA and NASA forming a partnership to create new satellites. SpaceX launching their project Zuma, secret satellite program for the U.S. government, and at the same time, the Army and Marines deploying 3D printed drones. But what I really wanted to look at with this is how we're seeing them again push for space, push to get off of the planet, push to see what is happening in near Earth orbit, observe us. That's how these technocratic people are. You see, the fourth industrial revolution is saying, you know what, there's way too many people here on the planet, let's let them all kill themselves. This is why we have things like biowarfare going on. This is why we have so many sicknesses happening. And as again, I'll talk about this later on in the show, the weather modification, the post-weather modification ramifications. Why we see things like 39 degrees over on the East Coast, flash fires that are coming out of nowhere. And if you guys paid attention to one of our live streams earlier this week, somebody from Southern California said that the spraying in Southern California was pretty heavy, and they think that might be, when I say spraying, I mean chemtrails. They think that might tie into some of the fires as well, because it was just devastating the areas. My point is this: by them launching all these satellites, these operations, these things into space, this is, as I keep trying to say, the breakaway civilization, the military-industrial complex, reaching off into space, destroying the environment while doing so, harvesting resources so that they can send themselves off into space. So while we're here, let's talk about this. I mean, harvesting resources is important, but why do we have Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, joking about, at the start of 2018, joking about ending all life as we know it, talking about buttons on their desks? And I know, it's all fear-mongering, it's all crazy, but you've really got to look at what they're doing to the world. They're triggering the world. They're triggering everybody. These rising global powers, like I said, China, Japan, Russia, and now North Korea. They actually hit one of their own cities recently, conducting their tests. But all of these people are testing missiles, testing rockets, testing something. As I keep saying, their plan is to destroy the exterior world, destroy Earth in their attempts, or destroy life as we know it, and escape off into near-Earth orbit. It sounds strange, but didn't we have the Pentagon admitting that they were the ones who took millions of dollars to create the secret space program? They said it was money well spent. And we never really catch these things whenever they happen. We never really understand like the importance of it too, because so many different things happen. How does it make sense? How do we put it all together? What does that really mean? It sounds crazy whenever it all comes together, but what else would you expect? Why else are they trying to unleash all these different types of biowarfares? Have all these unnatural disasters? Have all these different things take place? Watch and govern society. See who really does know. Like I said, I'm surprised that I'm still here. I'm surprised that I'm still able to operate in the capacity that I am. Let's get into this real quick. And this is all of these articles that you guys see now, and this is the beauty of it. I want it to where you guys go onto the website and explore. Really dig deep into the information that's there. The links are there. The videos are there. The content is there. I put it there for a reason, so we have these types of debates. Let's get into this article. Put this up December 18th. It says the Pentagon has admitted to establishing a $22 million program to studying unidentified flying objects, otherwise known as UFOs. Well, they can admit to studying UFOs. We all understand what the black budget project is. I talked to Billy Carson about this. I talked to a lot of people about this. Everybody understands that. All the money that they keep siphoning, all the taxpayers' dollars, that's where it goes. We've even talked about this as well, how they're creating a Space Corps, the first new military branch since 1947. This is where we're going. So let's continue to get into this. According to a report from Politico, Congress, specifically then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, instructed the Pentagon in 2007 to create a program called the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. The purpose of this program, which also had the support of Democrat Senator Daniel Inouye and Republican Senator Ted Stevens, was to study reports of UFOs, often coming from military pilots. And if people are curious as to why that's important, go and research things like MyLabs, military abductions. And basically, these are people's accounts who talk about being abducted by aliens, air quotes aliens, or extraterrestrial biological entities, but also seeing government figures during their experience. It's very crazy. Very crazy. So for them to have a report where they're having military pilots talking about their UFO encounters is basically them trying to get information on a deeper part of the program. But continuing on, it says, in initial discussions about the program, Stephen himself stated that during his time in the Air Force, he had been followed by a strange aircraft. A former congressional staffer told Politico that one possible reason for interest in the program is the possibility that the Russian or the Chinese are behind strange aerial objects that seem to defy the laws of physics with superior flight technology. Of course, it had to be the Russians. It had to be the Chinese. It had to be the Chi-Coms. The Pentagon has not acknowledged the program's existence until now, but funding for the program ended in 2012. Nevertheless, there are still some officials with the program who continue to investigate UFO reports, while still maintaining their main duties elsewhere in the department. Although the program ended in 2012, it has recently come into the spotlight again because of the October resignation of Military Intelligence Office official Luis Elizondo, who ran the initiative. In his resignation letter to Secretary of Defense James Mattis, Elizondo complained that the Pentagon wasn't taking the initiative's findings seriously. Elizondo said that although he was leaving, there was already a successor at the department to continue the program. So, continuing on to basically branch off from this, what I'm talking about with the rising global powers, this is why you have Vladimir Putin talking about superhumans. Be wary of them because it's going to get crazy. We don't know what's going to happen if we start mixing up all kinds of DNA. What we're talking about is this endless war. This endless war to where, we never stop fighting. We continually try to destroy ourselves in better ways, to where we make better people. No longer will we have it to where we can actually strive to be better, strive to be a better human. We're going to live in the days of genetic modification, of designer babies, of hybrids. This is the future. And it sounds wild, but if you look at the subtle things that they're doing today versus what they have planned for tomorrow, you really begin to get a bigger and broader picture of what that means for our life and for what they have planned for us. You see, I mean, think about it. And this sounds wild, but why would they grant citizenship to a robot? To Sophia. It's cute, right? Some of the women in Saudi Arabia don't have rights, yet they're willing to give it to a robot. They're willing to give robots more rights than humans. And no one finds that strange. Right there, Saudi Arabia granted citizenship to a robot. Now she's calling for women's rights. To these people, it's a very sick joke. To our life, to what we have going on, to the things that we have to do. It's not. But these people make it sound funny. They make it sound strange. They make it sound wild. But that's how it works. They have to push the Overton window. They have to make things crazy, chaotic, distorted, wild, insane. So that if we ever do think about what is actually going on, there's no way that we could put it all together. What am I talking about? I'm talking about them trying to say that we're less humans and more robots. They want to make us like them. They don't want us to have feelings. They don't, like I said, they don't want us to have dissenting opinions. They don't want us to think for ourselves. Be different. Be human. Be you. Be exceptional. Be exemplary. Set the standard. Set the bar. No, we should just let the robots do that. Everything that's cool now is technological, right? Seeing somebody bench press over 500 pounds, that's not cool. Saw it once in a YouTube video. Yeah, but you didn't live it. You didn't push yourself there. You didn't live that limit. You see, I'm getting off on a rant, getting off on a tangent. Look at this. Singularity. Leading AI expert claims robots and humans can make babies, creating new hybrid species. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, because these people are trying to dehumanize us. Thankfully, the terrorists shut that meeting down. But this article, and this is definitely one I think you guys should go look at on the website, Robot Genes. AI expert advocates and explains robot-human offspring. This is important because what they're basically talking about is hijacking our genes, hijacking humanity. It sounds funny. It sounds like it's a joke, but they're literally coming up with things. The only way I would be able to describe it, and it still doesn't even do it justice because you can understand it and it's deeper. The only way I can describe it is injecting a computer with nanobytes that resemble blood, sperm, eggs, ova, everything that's basically needed to create a baby. And then that computer that's been injected with these nanobytes that are simulating life then impregnates a synthetic cell that's been grown. And so then you have a computer basically generated human life that's been born through synthetic means. It's crazy. It's crazy. And they're really trying to do these types of things. This is the darker side of cloning. This is like the true part of cloning. This is the push for transhumanism. But even then, on top of that, that is just how they're trying to make people. You got to think, where are they getting the material from? Well, they're making it. We've talked about this as well. This ties into PedoGate and all the other crazy things that they have going on. But basically what it is, and the reason I'm going down this crazy path is because they're dehumanizing normal humans advocating designer humans and robots to where basically humans are thrown out of the picture. We're no longer seen as fit. We're no longer seen as powerful. But you hear about some tribes in our past that can run miles for days. You hear about some of the physical prowess and some of the awesome things that people can do. Yes, these superhumans and this mindset that this gives us something to achieve, something to strive towards. But then you've got to ask yourself, what happens whenever we actually live among what these people would consider, or what our ancients would consider, gods? We're making transhumans. We're making the Ubermensch. That's why 1984 sounds crazy. We're living it. Hitler's wet dream. We're living it. We talk constantly about chimeras, human-animal hybrids, and things of this nature. But whenever you get down to the point of it, what I'm really trying to say is how they are trying to manipulate society, manipulate humanity, change that which is normal, change that which is human. This is the paradigm shift, because you have people who are choosing to see this distortion, this dehumanization, this depopulation, this weak affliction, the affliction of the weak, and they're rising up against it. That's what we have to do. We have people who are really becoming superhuman. And in the face of all this craziness, we have to ask ourselves, is that what we need? Is that what we want? We have to ask ourselves, what is the deeper meaning of being human? Really explore that. Really ask yourself who you are, who we are, who you've come from. They want to make you stay focused on race. Race does have a huge part in it. But humanity is the race. Your nationality is something different. Our histories, our paths, where we've come from, these are very, very real and very, very true. But where do we come from? What are we doing? How are we moving forward with it? Take it into consideration. It's very important, no lie. But it's what you do with it and where we take ourselves that's important. Share in this collective experience. Let me get into this article. Let me get into this article real quick. Can robots and humans make babies together? This is a serious question inspired by some of the advances already achieved in the 21st century by researchers in cell biology and in a discipline variously known as biorobotics, synthetic biology, or bio-nanotechnology. Although it had been a truth universally acknowledged that sexual intercourse was an essential precursor to conception, it was only around 150 years ago that early studies of embryology revealed that the reason why, according to the dogma of the time, intercourse was essential in human reproduction. The reason was that only an egg from a female fertilized by a sperm from a male can result in a live birth. But thanks to a Nobel Prize winning work of researchers like embryologist John Gurdon and stem cell researcher Shinya Yamanaka, it has become possible during the past few years to create birth sperm cells and eggs in the laboratory from skin cells, obviating the need for a human mother or father to kick off the reproductive process. It has become possible during the past few years to create both sperm cells and eggs in the laboratory from skin cells. That's crazy. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. In 2018, we literally have these people trying to make people for different experiments. This might sound strange, but this is the humanity that they would like to have. One that can be controlled, one that they can monitor, one that is perfectly built. Normality is being changed, yet they don't want us to talk about this. Our opinions are being manufactured, yet they don't want us to talk about this. Our history is being erased, yet they don't want us to talk about this. They are trying to destroy what we consider normal, yet they do not want us to talk about this. And you don't find that strange. So when we come back, because we're going to take a quick break, when we come back, we're going to be talking about things like this East Coast warfare. What is going on over there? I feel like there's a whole lot of craziness happening. The East Coast doesn't know what to do with snow. Now we got the West Coast on fire still. California's curious fires. Like I said before at the start of the show, with these chemtrails being accelerants. And again, stuff like this Ready Player One, why we're talking about the world being afflicted by all these different types of things. But like I said, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be talking about this and more. This is Cyberspace, Paradigm Shifts, and Humanity's Strifes on Factions of Freedom. Stay tuned. Whoosh. And just like that, and a scene switch, we're back. In just a quick break, we're back at it, talking about this and more. Like I said, it is wild. Not only is it wild, but it is a massive honor to be here in this position, talking with these types of things to you guys. I cannot stress that enough. be talking about whatever's popular in entertainment. We could be talking about all kinds of other nonsense, football, etc., sports, and these things have their own glory to them and their own respect, but I am honored to be sitting here talking about these types of things with you guys. After a while, it really does become a duty, and like I keep saying, an honor, a pleasure to be in this capacity in your life. Really. So like I said, thank you for tuning in. But let's get back to this. Like I said, the climate change, the things that are happening. What is happening? So before I jump into this stuff, you know, I'm here in the desert. We haven't gotten any snow this year. And that's weird because normally we're used to it snowing sometime around October, or at least getting a little bit of a drizzle. But, and I have a point to this. But with everything that's been going on, Hurricane Maria, Hurricane Jose, Hurricane Katia, hurricane season. Okay, all the things that happen, and then on top of that, again, the fires that are going on. These things affect the country. These things affect the ecology of the planet. They affect the weather. They affect everything. So if Texas is getting hit, if Florida's getting hit, if the West Coast is getting hit, and the East Coast are getting hit, all with different types of anomalous weather behavior. This is again what I was talking about before with the post-weather modification ramifications. We're going to be hit with a whiplash style effect of these things. We're going to be getting hit back harder from whenever things are already naturally happening. We think that we can manipulate the weather, and that's arrogant on our part, for sure, because the planet has been here and will continue to be here. But whenever we continuously keep trying to keep up our efforts and Mother Nature wants to come back, she's really gonna hurt us. And that's what I'm talking about. I think what we're seeing right now is the effects of just that, the weather warfare. We can't keep manipulating stuff without expecting things like this to happen. The whole country's basically frozen. I mean, but we're out here in the desert, so we can't feel anything. The whole country's frozen, yet California's still on fire. Well, was on fire. Or is in the process of being put out. It's all over the place. But like I said before, these things are happening. The chemtrails, they play a massive part in this. A massive part of what we have to look at is because of, again, these people's efforts, what they're doing, how they manipulate reality, how they manipulate the environment, how they manipulate what we see, what we feel, and what's happening all around us. That's why they're trying to conduct so many biowarfare tests. That's why they're conducting so many experiments. That's the best way to describe it. Because these people not only do they not know how to leave things alone, but they're trying to experiment with us. Think about how many people are being afflicted right now. And you know what's crazy is sometimes I see articles that do come out that do illustrate this, but they're so wild, I don't want to put them out. You know, they told us weeks before all of this stuff that Britain was going to get hit fierce, that thousands were going to die because of the weather that was going to change. And I thought, oh, well, you know, I can't put that up because that's fear-mongering. Yeah, that's too out there for me. But then you have all of the different incidents that have happened. I'm not talking about the wrecks. I'm not talking about any of the accidents or any of the things that are going on there. I'm talking about, you know, like I said, the whiplash. What comes back after these people keep manipulating the planet, keep manipulating our surroundings. You see, it sounds wild, but that's all they know how to do. So as I told you guys I was going to talk about these chemtrails and what's going on in California. Why do I feel like that's important? Because California is becoming a new world order. It's becoming the foothold for the new world order here in America. I think that's apparent to everybody at this point. I think everybody can kind of see that, and we're all kind of seeing like how radical California is becoming, but at the same time, what kind of precedents that's going to set for America. You see. Let's take a look at this article right here. Right here. Citizen scientists in California want to test for aluminum in air, water, and soil after finding anomalous high levels. These are all of these are articles that you guys can find on the website because this is important. We really have to look at this type of stuff. I put this up January 2nd. It says, at the recent Guild's annual convention, representatives from 40 chapters deliberated on 25 resolutions in 7 categories: agriculture, communities, energy, government, health, education, and natural resources. Quote, as a grassroots organization, the Guild often alerts the public about issues that are later widely recognized, such as our early work on labeling GMOs and the recent addition of glyphosate and Roundup to the Prop 65 state list of carcinogenic chemicals, said Chico Community Guild Vice President Peter Allison. Allison pointed out that aluminum levels have risen over the decades and are now up to 18 times higher than the California's EPA maximum contamination level. I'm going to read that one more time because that's crazy. That is wild. Allison pointed out that the aluminum levels have risen over the decades and are now up to 18 times higher than the California EPA's maximum contamination level. As volunteer environmentalists discovered from water and soil samples submitted to state-certified labs, adding, quote, whose job is it to take action when the state maximum of 10,000 ppb is exceeded? A resolution co-author, Lauren Ayers, a retired teacher from Chico, said, quote, it's easy to make fun of citizen scientists, but without volunteer activists in Flint, Michigan, that city would still have lead in the water. Boom. Very true. Glad she said that. That was very nice. That was a very nice comeback. But it's true, because we really have to look at what these people are trying to do. They're trying to destroy us. It's not only about the weather warfare, the cloud seeding, the manipulation of the heartbeat of the planet, trying to mess with the Schumann resonance. It's not only about that. It's about what we have to digest, what we internalize. The water has fluoride in it. They have chemicals that give some people dementia, that mess people up mentally. There's a lot of different problems that come with simply drinking tap water these days. That's why filters are very important. I'm going to try to find a reputable organization that I can partner with, that I can advertise, that I trust, that puts it out there, man, because we don't really want to be I filter our water here already. We have an iodide stick and all kinds of other stuff, but I still don't trust the water. I'll put it to you guys this way. We bought some fish the other day, and I know these are just fish. We bought some fish the other day, and I think it might just be the city water, and we treated it too. We brought 6 fish. 2 of them survived overnight. Sounds crazy, right? We bought 2 Dominoes, Dalmatians, 2 Dalmatian fish, 2 swordfish, and I think 2 guppy, I'm not sure. But there's only one of each. There's a Dalmatian, and both swordfish died, and we only have one of those guppies. It's crazy. And I think it's the water, they said this was going to happen with fish, but still at the same time, I think it's the water. It's the water because I've had a lot of different things happen to myself and others with this water. So let me get back into this because, like I said, testing for air, testing for the aluminum in the air, that's important to the weather modification, because they can use these things, like I said, as accelerants. There's a video where you see how fast the fire takes over a mountain. It's wild. But continuing on, it says, quote, aluminum is toxic to plants and animals, adds her co-author John Diaz, a longtime labeled GMO activist in the Sacramento chapter. Quote, we're taking this out of the category of conspiracy theory and into the public health arena. Chair of the convention's Water Committee, retired science teacher Jessica Denning of Sacramento, said, quote, we must follow the evidence where it leads. If official testing validates the activist tests, then we can thank them for the early warning. If state tests show no rise in aluminum, we can all breathe a sigh of relief. That's fairly fair. For this pilot project, we recommend that the Assembly and the Senate establish 4 types of testing in order to get a complete picture. And you guys can basically read more of that on the website. But this type of stuff is crucial, because we're literally having people that say, you know what, I'm tired of having lead in my water. I'm tired of feeling like I'm inhaling aluminum. I'm tired of feeling like I'm always lethargic. I'm tired of feeling like there's some days where things are all wrong, where it's all cloudy, where it's all bad. You guys have seen it, where I'll be hiking in the mountains and I'll see them spraying right there. And then you go into town, and right after that, what do you see? You see people that are angry. You hear all kinds of honking. It's a literal thing. It's because they're trying to mess with our moods. They're trying to not only distort us, but distort reality, distort the environment. And the environment will fight back. Don't worry. The same way we have a natural circadian rhythm. All of these things are important when we have to look at what we're up against, because this is the future. I know this sounds strange. I know it sounds wild. But if we don't see how all of these things fit together, how they can try to have us into this society because they want to destroy the outside world so bad, to where we don't go outside, to where we don't exercise our right, to where we don't ask for what is owed to us, what is righteous, what is preferred, what we deserve. We deserve clean water. We deserve clean air. This is why, again, this is why we're talking about things such as Agenda 21, the time trend of 2020, all of these different types of things, is because it's right around the corner. Plastic production is going to be up at least 40% this year alone. We can already see the kinds of problems that having extended exposure to lead in your water, lead and fluoride in your water, what that does. Right there, the latest study on water fluoridation, again, links it to lowered children's IQ. And then we're also hearing how studies confirm that the next generation of GMOs may seriously compromise our species' genetic integrity. This is very serious stuff. What we're talking about is how they're trying to depopulate us. They're trying to dehumanize us. And it starts right there. What do you think? Where do you think this type of stuff goes? Let's see. I think this article might be up on the website. I'm not sure if I put it up on social media yet. Where do you think this stuff goes? Right there. And I really do hope you guys check out all the other things that we have to offer, because it's only going to get better, and it's only going to get that much more diverse. Can road salts and other environmental pollutants disrupt our circadian rhythm? And this is by Jennifer Marie Hurley, assistant professor of biological sciences at the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I'm sure I butchered that to the nth degree. But every winter, local governments across the United States apply millions of tons of road salt to keep streets navigable during snow and ice storms. Runoff from melting snow carries road salt into streams and lakes and causes many bodies of water to have extraordinarily high salinity. At the Polytechnic Institute, my colleague Rick Relia and his lab are working to quantify how increases in salinity affect ecosystems. Not surprisingly, they have found that high salinity has negative impacts on many species. They have also discovered that some species have the ability to cope with these increases in salinity, but this ability comes at a price. In a recent study, Rick and I analyzed how a common species of zooplankton, Delphinopulix, adapts to increasing levels of road salt. We found that this exposure affected an important biological rhythm, the circadian clock, which may govern Daphne's feeding and predation avoidance behaviors. Since many fish prey on Daphne, this affects this affects could have ripples throughout the entire ecosystem. Our work also raises questions about whether salt or other environmental pollutants could have similar impacts on the human circadian rhythm. So definitely go check that out. It's on the website, and it's fascinating read because this stuff is important. They're distorting reality. They're making us, they're dehumanizing us. They're desensitizing us. They're stressing us out. They're trying to make us more subservient, more servile, to where we don't think for ourselves, to where we don't want to achieve, to where we think, oh, well, you know, the life is just so bad. I don't need to exist. I don't need to fight. I don't need to rise up and shout at these injustices. I don't need to do better for my son. I don't need to do better for my child. I don't need to do better for anyone else. This is what they're teaching us. This is what they want us to be. You know what? With the time that we have, I'm going to try to sit up over here and break this down. This clip, right, from Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. So Columbus, Ohio, 2045, right? Look at this, and I don't. This is going to sound weird, and rude, but this is the future that they already have us moving towards if we don't try to figure out solutions. 2045, right? So that's in 27 years. Let's take a look.
Sitting here in my tiny corner of nowhere.
He's on top of a washer and dryer. That's his bed. And what looks to be like some kind of cutout box or some kind of old shipping container, looking at holographic, a holographic projection in the, I guess, aluminum-filled sky. Think about that. If they kept spraying stuff, they would literally have all kinds of nanoparticles in the sky to where they could project holographs. Whereas all kinds of people over there on the side of the street.
Nowhere left to go.
There's all kinds of people over there on the side of the street. You know, there's no homes. There's a massive wave of migration. There's a massive, I guess, I really even wouldn't know what to say. Everybody's a refugee. No one has any kind of a home. And that's why they're trying to destroy nationalism today, destroy walls. This is the borderless world, to where we're all just, you know, one class of poor.
Nowhere. Except the oasis.
Life is so bad that we need to go into the matrix. That we no longer need to be human. We don't need to clean up our mess here. You know what? We don't need to figure out any of these actual social problems. With this tool that we have, we could actually be using, again, these tools of enslavement. We could actually be using the cyberspace to understand different paradigm shifts so that we wouldn't have these strifes against humanity. But instead, we find ways to distract ourselves. We need to come together to figure out solutions, not run through it. So one of the things I want to point out while we're here, notice how what they have us actually going into is a cross. Okay. And I'm sure there's some symbolism there. You know, maybe we need to brush up on our Illuminati symbolism, but these types of things are important. Looking at what they're trying to do, again, illustrates where we see the future going. Let's continue.
A whole virtual universe. People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do
that they can't do in the real world. Again, you know, this is why we have to understand the pull of social media, the pull of technology, the pull of cyberspace. And while it is very real, we have to understand what it comes with. You have a life. You have people that care for you. At what point does your woke life stop? Are you going to stop doing anything because you're so woke? Maybe you should go meditate, leave the system, and actually do something, you see. These are deeper questions, again, that we have to ask ourselves, or we'll continue to play around in all the things that they offer.
But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything. The Oasis was the brainchild of James Halliday.
Hello. If you're watching this, I'm dead. I created a hidden object, an Easter egg. The first person to find.
So think about that. Really think about these types of things. And that's why we pay attention to what's happening in the environment, what's happening to society, what's happening to our mind. Should we really be triggered by a man or one of the man's staffers who's tweeting to millions of people and literally affecting the course of history and sociology and psychology? Should we really be that triggered by this man who's referencing destroying what we consider society with a button? He's literally triggering the entire world with a button on Twitter. And what does this mean? Is that hate speech? I don't know. I mean, that is that fear mongering? I don't know. Yet we still see countries. We see China moving troops to North Korea. We see them, like I said, shooting off the Falcon 9 rocket. We see them doing all kinds of different things, making all kinds of different movements. But it's okay because Snapchat just got a new filter. It's okay because we can take selfies. We really have to look at what's happening to society. They don't want us to see what's happening in our surroundings. They would prefer to have us in, as I said before, this digital matrix that they provide, as provided by Google. This is reality distortion, where they keep us all so drugged up, so doped up, so hooked up to all of their devices that we are no longer ourselves. This is, again, a part of that robot-human merger. Like I said, giving Sophia citizenship, that's the introduction to these types of things, to this type of behavior. This is why we're, again, looking at things like cryptocurrency. What is technology doing to society? What is it doing to your mind? What is it doing to your life? Are you using it, or is it using you? You see, these are all real truths that we have to start asking ourselves as the world begins to turn. And we can continue to have philosophical debates. We continue to fight about whatever pops up in the news, or we can look past it. 2018 for myself is setting up to be something very interesting because I will be able to spend a lot more time with you guys. But it's in the time that I will spend with you guys that we have to understand what our purpose is. As people who can see through all of this nonsense and still try to help the people who are attached and who are still so stuck to the system and crave it. You see, it goes past the likes, it goes past the posts, it goes past all of the one-dimensional things that we see going on. If we don't really learn how to actually use this system against us, it will use us willingly. Like I said, we have to understand what we're giving the system, what we're giving over our freedoms, our natural way of life. This all comes at a price. Like I talked about with the autonomous cars. You're offering up freedom for a total control. This is the world that we're moving into. This is the cyberspace. But at the same time, this paradigm shift that we see taking place, it has to happen in the mind as it already is. They're trying to govern the mind through things like censorship, through things like net neutrality, through deleting pages, through deleting content. But at the same time, getting us addicted to social media to where we don't really retain a lot of information. We don't really retain a lot of wisdom. And a lot of these things you guys know inherently. But at the end of the day, we need to hear these types of things to understand that no, you're not crazy. And yes, you can see this going on. That all the signs are there. Except the signs aren't there. And they try to tell us that it's not real. Yet we can see it happening. So at a certain point, we have to break away still from this system, as it has its tentacles of control in us. And we have to institute new ways to fight it. You see. And it's going to be strange. That's the whole point of this entire show, is so that we have these types of discussions to break through the matrix, to see through what they are trying to do to us. It's crazy. It is crazy. And I know it's going to sound wild and weird, but until we get to a point to where it's comfortable, to where change has become our normality, they won't stop, because they're always trying to keep us in a state of constant progression till we really can't understand what's going on. But I want to close this out. I want to close this out and say, I hope you guys are paying attention, because you can continue to hear more about these types of things on our show that we will be debuting this Sunday on Fellowship and Freedom. You guys can go check that out on the Wake Up Radio. Make sure you go to the website, because I'll have some tabs there where you can go listen to it, and it's going to be great. I'm actually very excited. It's a whole new audience on a brand new network, where with whole different features. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be an awesome time, because again, not only will I not be able to, I'll be talking to you guys, I won't be talking to myself, but we'll be able to branch out and do different things. You see, have different thoughts, have different discussions. One of the things that I wanted to implement with the new show is covering topics. Things like, why are we so obsessed with negativity? What is human potential? What is wording? What is spelling? What happens when we speak? Different things like that. Because it is important to look at everything that is going on, to see the different advancements of the different agendas, but at the same time we have to understand ourselves in them. And I think by taking a pivot to other topics, that gives us a chance to open up that discussion. So I'm going to try to implement that, not only on this show, but on our feed as well. Catching up with the news, that's all well and great, but at the same time I feel like we need to have a deeper discussion as well about what it means to be human, about these things that we're afflicted by, not just glancing over them really quickly. This show, it's going to be every other Sunday. You guys can call in live at 678-603-4393. It's going to be 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And, if you're on the East Coast, my friends, that's 2 hours ahead of you guys. So 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for our international friends, I will try to figure out a better way to convert that for you. Or you're more than welcome to listen to it on the replay on our audio podcast feeds. Because, we're really doing a lot. We're really doing a lot. And it's all because, you guys are paying attention and we have the opportunity to do something with it. That's really the only way that I can say it. It's because of you guys that we're able to make these awesome kinds of changes and these awesome kinds of pivotal steps that are needed. Really. And on top of that too, I'm going to figure out a way to hire people so we can have some original content coming out from the operation. We already have videos, audio, and everything else coming out. We need writers. We need people who are putting out, content just the same. So we're going to be doing a lot over the course of this year, as well as, with the operation in entirety. And it's because you guys are giving us your time, your energy, your trust, and we're going to do something with it. That's how this works. I'm not here to let you down. I'm here to inform you about everything that's going on. So with that being said, I'm going to check out for you guys. Like I said, make sure you're checking out the website, factionsoffreedom.gemda.com. I'm always updating it. I'm always adding different content, different things, different little doohickeys. And yes, I said doohickeys because, it is just that simple. This is the baby. This is the landing zone. Get off of their platforms. We have got to. We've got to get off of their platforms. We've got to get off of what they're doing, because then they have total control. But if we make our own, not only do we have people that come to us and we start building a following, but we also start having a dog in the fight. They can get rid of me so fast. They've tried. That's a lot of what 2017 was. They tried. And look at what it's done. Make sure you're checking out the website, factionsofreedom.jimdo.com, and once you're there, get lost on all the content. You can download our PedoGate timeline. I don't know if I plugged that at the start of the show, but download the I did. Download the PedoGate timeline. Download all of our content. Download all of Season 5 before we get started into Season 6, because that's where we are. That's where we're at. That's what we're doing. We're constantly moving. Or become a Patreon exclusive member. You can get access to it all and more, because we have got to realize the fight that we're in. And when I say that I diversify the information for you guys, I mean it. These newsletters, that's going to be the way that we try to get this to you. They can shut down the page, they can cut us off of Facebook, but they can't close your email. You see, we've got to learn to rise in the face of adversity. But I'm ranting, and that's all I really have for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll have it in the description bar below. And as always, guys, stay vigilant, expose lies, and share truth. This is Noise Era, Freedom Faction, out. What a crazy way to say goodbye to 2017. But if you would have told me that we would be dealing with half of the things that we've been dealing with up until this point, I would have laughed at your face. But this is what it all looks like whenever the Illuminati, the New World Order, however you want to look at it, the deep state, whatever it is that they're doing, this is what it looks like whenever all this chaos unfolds. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Pandora's box has been opened, and we're about to go right down this rabbit hole. Well, like I said, that's all I really have for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll have it in the description bar below. And as always, guys, stay vigilant, expose lies, and share truth. This is Noise Era, Freedom Faction, out. I'll see you next season. Have a good one.